Good morning. Welcome to another rainy day in Ohio. But if you don't like the weather in Ohio, wait a few minutes, it'll change. I got my block back from the machine shop, and today I want to do an inventory and make sure I've got everything ready to assemble, all the parts that I need. So I'm going to go through everything, make some mental notes, make some verbal notes, and then get the parts ordered so I can start assembling this block. There are a few things that I've deliberately put off getting. One is the head gaskets. I want to wait until I get the pistons in and check my piston to head clearance to see what thickness of gasket to use. The machine shop told me the piston should be about 10 thousandths down in the hole, but I want to verify that before I order the head gaskets. But there are other things I know that I need. So anyway, let's just go through it real quick. Here's my block, the way it came back from the machine shop. I recently picked up my early 70s Chevy small block from the machine shop. They cleaned the block and checked it for cracks. They bored it 30 thousandths over to a 4.030 bore. The machine shop clearanced the block for the stroker crankshaft and connecting rods. I had planned to do the clearance work myself, but had the machine shop do the work in order to save time, which is something I don't have right now. They also square decked the block. The cylinders were final honed using torque plates. Just as a quick side note, you can purchase a remanufactured 383 block from Summit Racing. My delivered cost for a similar 383 block would be $917. Even though the block was completely cleaned and taken down to bare metal, when they do the final honing, they're using an oil, and maybe they even sprayed something on this to protect it, to keep it from rusting. But there is an oil on it that I need to get off before I paint the block, and I kind of want to paint it before I put the core plugs in. I do have brass core plugs for it, and I would prefer to paint it and have that brass exposed, unpainted. I know it's a small thing, but you know, I try to take pride and I've got a paint scheme in mind for this block. I want to paint it the factory Chevy orange, but I want to do the valve covers and the oil pan and the timing cover in black, and I want to do a textured black paint. I have a paint that's called wrinkle paint that you paint and then you put in an oven and bake, and I have an old oven and I just need to make a cord so I can plug it into my welder outlet here. But I plan on doing those in the black wrinkle paint. I also have a factory air cleaner, which I may do that as well. I don't know that I'll be running that factory air cleaner, but you know, I might put it on for a cruise in or something like that. But like I said, primarily I want to go through and get a list of what I need to start assembling this. Like I said, I have my core plugs I have my cam bearings. I'm not sure if I'm going to run a mechanical fuel pump or not. I'm actually thinking of just going with an electronic fuel pump. So if that's the case, I'm going to need a plate to delete and block this off. I'll have to see what's available for that. I don't know, but I'm sure something is. Another thing I want to check is to see whether they took out, I don't know if the machine shop took out this hidden galley plug or not, but I need to check that. I need to get my rear main seal. I have the micrometers and bore gauges, everything I need to measure clearance. I've never used Plastigauge, but I bought some Plastigauge, and one of the things I want to do is take measurements with the micrometers and the bore gauges, and then I also want to do the Plastigauge and check and see how those two numbers compare. Now I'm going to come over here and go through this pile of parts, and I want to give a breakdown of what I chose for this project as well as the upgrades. This is a fully balanced assembly. Obviously I couldn't do the balancing, but I will show the balance card that came with it. And like I said, I just need to go through all the parts, verify what I have and what I still need to get on order. I bought an internally balanced 383 rotating assembly at a cost of $1,678.50. The crank is a Scat 4340 forged crankshaft with a 3.75-inch stroke for the 383 and has standard 350 diameter main journals and takes a two-piece rear main seal to match the Gen 1 block that I'm using. The standard balance tolerance for this assembly is to be within 2 grams or less. For $125, I upgraded to race balancing, which means all the pistons and rods are match weighted to within 0.2 of a gram or less, and the final balance is brought down to 1 gram or less. This helps the engine to operate vibration-free at high RPM. Here is the bob weight card for my rotating assembly. And here is the balance sheet. I also had the crankshaft polished, which is supposed to extend bearing life, reduce oil temp, and free up a slight amount of average horsepower. The cost for polishing the crankshaft was $38.50. I chose Scat 6-inch Pro Competition I-beam connecting rods, upgraded with 7/16 ARP 2000 rod bolts. These rods are forged 4340 steel, polished, shot peened, are bronze bushed, and use a full floating wrist pin. The upgrade to the competition rod from the regular Scat rods was $65. The upgrade from ARP 8740 rod bolts to the ARP 2000 rod bolts cost $89.50. The pistons are Wiseco fully forged flat top pistons with a negative 4.5 cc valve relief. They are made from 2618 aircraft alloy, which is supposed to be resistant to the effects of detonation and heat. The piston rings are from Mali, or Mala as some pronounce it. The main bearings and rod bearings are Cleveite H Series Tri-Metal, TM77. The cost of the upgrade from King bearings to the Cleveite H Series was $43.50. The balanced assembly included a damper and a flex plate. I upgraded both of those to SFI approved. The cost for the damper upgrade was $69.50 and the flex plate upgrade was $18.50. The total cost of the balanced rotating assembly with all of the upgrades was $2,333.38. My custom camshaft and Delphi lifters cost $303.42. Here is the cam card for my custom camshaft. The ported Vortec heads with all the upgrades were $1,524. That puts me at right around $5,400 for this engine so far. I still need a carburetor or EFI system, headers, and accessories. It is easily going to be over $6,000 in the engine alone. There is still the transmission, rear diff, suspension, and body work to do. Nothing is cheap. Remember, I'm doing everything possible myself. I said in a previous video that it would be cheaper to buy a finished car than to build this one, but it is the work and the learning that I enjoy. And what would I learn if I just bought a finished vehicle? Also, what sense of accomplishment is there in buying a finished vehicle? Thanks for watching, and God bless.